The African Critical Minerals Summit begins its two-day event, and this happens in Fourways in Johannesburg. The summit aims to drive initiatives that ensure the beneficiation of Africa's rich mineral resources within the continent, benefiting local economies and as well as local entrepreneurs. SABC News reporter Katlego Legodi is in Fourways for us and joins us this hour. So Katlego, talk to us about how the summit planning to fine-tune some of those initiatives to benefit some of the local communities.
A very good morning to you, Mkolisi, and to our viewers at home. We see various of those delegates from the continent coming into South Africa, Johannesburg today, to form part of these high-level talks as they talk about ensuring that we get the best out of these critical minerals on the continent. So here we have various of those that are looking at ensuring that Africa positions itself to get the best out of these minerals, but also take stock in terms of ensuring that there's beneficiation, there's localization, and ensuring as well that these emerging economies where these minerals exist more or less ensure that they come through for them. So you find us today marking the third installment of this session here, having various of those role players, even from government, to talk about policy and just ensure that at least there is a move in getting the best out of those critical minerals. Here we're talking about lithium, we're talking about manganese and policy, we're talking about rare earth minerals that we are told that as a continent we are endowed with. So how do we ensure that we get the best out of them for these emerging economies? I'm going to bring Tsiho into the conversation. She's coming through as an organizer here. Tsiho Mutsunyane will just give us a sense of the importance of marking the third installment of these African critical minerals. And we're seeing that the group is getting even bigger. I was here last year, and we're seeing as well that this year we've even ramped it up, even inviting members of parliament to come form part of this occasion here today. Welcome to the SABC, Tsiho. Just give us a sense of what we can expect going into the coming 2 days.
Thank you, Katlego. Greetings to our viewers at home. The third installment of the African Critical Minerals Summit is for me a very high-level discussion. We have got here members from the African Mineral Strategy Group. We have got departmental representation. We've got representation from the Minerals Council of South Africa. We have got esteemed delegates such as Dr. Thibedi Ramonja. We have got Dr. Matthews Poza in our midst. As you said, the group is getting bigger. We continue to grow. This year's summit is convened under the theme, the true value of Africa's mineral wealth. And here we further conversations around the differences between strategic and critical minerals and how they can help the continent. Here we're talking local beneficiation, we're talking intercontinental trade, we are talking industry infrastructure development, we're talking socio-economic adjustments. We're talking about sustainable wealth and wealth creation, and we're talking about dignified employment, because that remains a paramount importance to us.
How do we ensure, Tsiho, that we don't just talk, but that there's greater value in most of these leaders coming together here? Do we see this event coming through with a strategy, somewhat of a framework that can help at least for us to get the best out of these minerals? What can we expect where these talks are concerned?
I must say, I was very impressed earlier on in the year when the minister mentioned, I think it was on the 20th of May, in Parliament, that it was at the 2023 summit where they reached a resolution to come up with the recently passed Critical Minerals Bill of South Africa. So this is not just a talk shop. I think in the 3 years that we have been in action, we have at least put out a bill, and we have got policymakers, and we've got government officials, as you said, So these conversations do not just end in this hall. They actually make it out onto paper, and they make it out into policies.
The rare earth minerals and some of these critical minerals, they become very important, looking at some of the issues around digitization. But how do we ensure that we get the best out of making sure that they help industrialize Africa, South Africa as a whole? Are we starting to get the best out of some of these minerals? We're talking, but are we starting to see the greater value, especially looking at the geopolitics that are also playing themselves out?
Yes, we are starting to get greater value. There is inter-Africa continental trade that is happening of minerals. I do know that there are a few refineries being set up across Africa to ensure local beneficiation of these minerals. There has been a shift across the continent in terms of mineral policies. I know Tanzania has just recently had a shift. Burkina Faso has had a shift, to name a few. South Africa's in the process of a shift. And there's been new policies. I mean, Namibia has just come up with new policies regarding their trade of critical minerals. And, in terms of geopolitics, critical minerals have got the opportunity to actually increase, to put us higher up into, as not as a third world continent, but as a first world continent, and to assert our rightful position in terms of our mineral endowment.
So all the best. It looks like it's going to really be a high level engagement here. Most of them are already here, Mxolisi, and you see them just going into various of these sessions. They're going to also be showcasing the Minerals Council here. They're going to be exhibiting, just to give us a sense of what we're talking about when we talk manganese, what we're talking about when we talk lithium, but also just all of these countries opening up their portfolios in terms of what they have in their back room and how all of that can help in terms of a greater strategy for these critical minerals to work for the continent.